Welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, and we have a game tonight, Thursday, Week 11. The Patriots are hosting the Jets. Who you going to start and who you going to sit? All right, we are here, we are live, and we have probably an absolute blowout on our hands tonight. The game, I don't think, is going to be competitive at all. The Jets against the Patriots, fuck no, will this game be close? So let's run through the gamut. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. You want to start your Patriots, you want to bench your Jets, but then there are some injuries that factor in. So let's start off with the injury report, and maybe some of these decisions might surprise you. I doubt it, but let's find out. This is the Jets injury report, and probably the biggest piece of news is that Garrett Wilson is going on IR. I'll be honest with you, I only just saw that like 30 minutes ago. I didn't look too deep into the Garrett Wilson news. All I need to know, all I need to know is that you can't play him tonight. I don't know when he'll be back. I honestly just didn't quite read the full thing, but it's possible he'll be out for more than 4 games. Their season is pretty much over. They're, let's see, missing 11, 12, 13, 14. He would be back soonest week 15. Why would you bring him back? I can't imagine Garrett Wilson is coming back, but maybe I just didn't read it and he's already saying he's not coming back. But Garrett Wilson is out. That's the big news for the New York Jets. They're already without Josh Reynolds, so I don't know who they're going to be throwing passes to. Like A.D. Mitchell's listed as their number one. I don't trust him. Just got to town. Tyler Johnson had the most targets last week. I wouldn't bet on that. Arian Smith, I believe he's a rookie. And this is gross. This is so gross. Mason Taylor will get the most targets. Will he catch them? Will he even be open? I doubt it. Brees Hall is really the only interesting piece. But let's keep going. Are there any other injuries to speak of on the defensive side? Cornerback Azariah Thomas is out. They already traded Sauce Gardner. Things are looking gross. They got some defensive linemen questionable tonight. I would not be betting on the Jets. Let's talk about the Patriots side of the ball, though. There are some very relevant injuries for New England. On offense is primarily where it's at, especially at the running back position, because if you have Travion Henderson, this is what we needed to see. Ramondre Stevenson out yet again. He was limited on Monday, but that was just a walkthrough. I didn't fully believe it. And he's not going to suit up. So wheels up for Travion Henderson. That is amazing. That is fantastic. Terrell Jennings is questionable. Not sure if he'll play, but I would assume there is some garbage time available for Terrell Jennings in this matchup. I could easily see him have a good second half. So as long as he isn't ruled out by kickoff, then Jennings is kind of an interesting lower end handcuff, but obviously I'm not going to start him if it's not DFS. And then at wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte will be out for the second week in a row. Short week, not a surprise, missed last week, not available. He is out. So that means Stephon Diggs is that much safer. Diggs has 3 straight games with a touchdown. I like Diggs a lot tonight. And then Mac Hollins had, I think, 10 targets last week. Crazy numbers. He's not bad. Has been stepping up on occasion, but no touchdowns for him this season. Last week, Kyle Williams had his breakout. Big catch for him, a touchdown, but otherwise nothing. And then Demario Douglas is still kind of underrated. I think we'll have a better game than last week. The game before that, 2 weeks ago, he had 100 yards and a touchdown. Demario Douglas is kind of interesting. But I also think Hunter Henry has legit streaming appeal this week, not just because of the Kayshon Boutte injury, but also because Austin Hooper is out. Austin Hooper kind of eats into his production. When he vultures him, it's really annoying. Austin Hooper, not going to play. So all of those routes at tight end will be run by Hunter Henry. That is good news if you are rostering Hunter Henry. But otherwise, on offense, someone I don't really know about on the offensive line is on IR, and that's kind of irrelevant. Let's check out their defense. Is there anything on the defense we should take a note of? Not really. They are without linebacker Christian Ellis, but they've missed him before. I believe he missed last week as well. I don't really care. I think the Patriots defense will be fine. So that is it for the injury report. Let's move on. Let's talk about the start sits in this game. And whoa, that is fucking huge. Okay, let's make that smaller. Um, let's make that a little bit smaller and then bring it in. Okay, these are the start to sit decisions for tonight. Pretty straightforward. I didn't really change anything from what I posted earlier in the week. So if you watch the start sit video, if you got a glimpse into how I view this game turning out, very little has changed. And it's pretty straightforward, in my opinion, who you're starting. If you have Drake May, there is only one quarterback I would bench him for. He is my QB2 this week. So I'm 100% starting him. Let me pull my ranks up as well. Let me get the rankings in. There we go. Ranks are here on the screen. So I have Drake May at QB2. I have him as my second ranked quarterback, only behind Justin Herbert. I really feel confident about the Patriots offense tonight. I expect a lot of touchdowns, unless Travion and Terrell Jennings are just vulturing him like over and over and over again. The only quarterback I'd rather have is Justin Herbert. I don't really see anyone being more valuable than Drake May or Justin Herbert tonight. So definitely starting Drake May. He's in my lineup for sure. At QB2, I can't imagine you're really benching him. I actually have this decision in both my leagues. I drafted Herbert and Drake May. And so in one league, the one I think I need a little more upside, I'm going with Herbert because I like the matchup more. And then in the other league, when I think it's a little more safe in terms of floor plays, I have Drake May. But both of them I think are going off Drake May. It should be great tonight. So I'm in a good spot, but I think both those quarterbacks are the top two this week. And then otherwise, the only other quarterback in this game is way down the list. I would not be starting Justin Fields. So I have Justin Fields as a clear bench. Definitely not starting him. The Patriots matchup is slightly below average, but without Garrett Wilson, there is no chance that Justin Fields will play well. So Fields is my quarterback 26 this week. I think you can do much better. When he plays bad, it's terrible. I know he has some rushing upside, but I just don't want to bet on it this week. I'd be benching Justin Fields for sure. If he was in my lineup, I would not bet on him at all. So that is it for quarterbacks. Now let's move on to the running back position where I am 100% starting Trayvon Henderson. Let me pull up my running back rankings as well. They are coming up. Here they are. Here are the running back rankings, and I have Trayvon Henderson in the must-start territory. I think Trayvon is a must-start this week. Last week was insanely productive, amazing game. I have him as my running back 9. Trayvon is my RB9 this week. I would be 100% starting Trayvon Henderson. With Ramondre out, there's no battle for touches. Not worried about Terrell Jennings. Trayvon is the man. 100% going to start him. I don't know about Breece Hall as much, though. Breece, I think, is more of a flex play this week because the Patriots matchup, as you can see right here, is the 29th rank, so bottom 5 matchup for Breece. I think he's just a desperation flex play, and I really don't see much upside. I don't think it's going to work out. So I'll scroll down in the rankings. I have him outside the top 20. So if you have someone like RJ Harvey, I'd rather go RJ Harvey. I'd rather go Chase Brown, Woody Marks, Imari DiMercado, Kimani Vidal, Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, Zach Charbonnet, and Tyjae Spears. I have Breece Hall ranked very low this week at RB 28. I don't really want to push my luck. I see very little offense tonight. I don't trust the Jets at all. And if you even have someone like Tyjae Spears, I'd rather go Tyjae Spears. You're hoping for a touchdown. I think he's in the same camp as someone like Kenneth Walker. You're probably not going to get it. The volume is going to be fine, just the efficiency will suck, and I see so few first downs. I don't expect them to get into the red zone tonight. If they do, it's going to be a miracle. I'd be benching Breece Hall 100%. So it's just a lack of other options at running back. It gets kind of thin. There's only 2 teams on bye, though, so he's well outside my legit starts. A low-end flex play at best, and honestly, it feels like it's probably not worth it. So I think I'm going to bench him. I don't really want him in the lineup. I don't think it's worth it. And then otherwise, the only other running back I'd even consider would be Terrell Jennings for just kind of like shits and giggles. Like if you want to laugh about it or you're super desperate in a deep format, I have Terrell Jennings all the way at the bottom of my rankings. I have him at number 43 tonight. Not a player I want. You could get a garbage time touchdown, though. That is definitely possible for Terrell Jennings. So RB 43, I doubt you're going to trust him. Definitely going to bench him if I can. So let's move on to a different position. Let's talk about wide receiver now. Let me get the rankings up. In terms of wide receiver rankings, I think the only one you want tonight in your lineup for sure is Stephon Diggs. Diggs is pretty safe, really reliable target share. Last 3 weeks, he also has scored a touchdown. That was a problem for him up until 3 weeks ago. And with Kayshon Boutte out, it feels even safer to project Drake May to play really well and Stephon Diggs to be his top target. So I'd be starting Stephon Diggs. In terms of where I rank him, he is inside my top 20. He's not inside my top 15. I'd still rather go with guys like George Pickens, T. Higgins, and A.J. Brown. However, I do have Stephon Diggs as wide receiver 18. I think he should be started tonight. I would trust him. I think the touchdown will hit. And I like the upside. I like the efficiency. I think Diggs is going to have a good game. So definitely start him. If you got him, I'd put him in the lineup. Wide receiver 18 right there. And then otherwise, I don't think I want any other wide receiver in my lineup. If I am going to take one, they're going to be for the Patriots. And last week, Mac Hollins had a really good game. I do consider Mac Hollins a little bit more interesting than Demario Douglas. But I have both of them in the flex conversation with no Boutte. I do think that they're kind of interesting, but I don't think I'm going to start either. I think it just feels a little too unsafe, hard to predict, and like you might get a great game from one of them, but you could also pick wrong. Last week I recommended Demario Douglas, and that was the only Pats receiver that didn't work out. So I've gotten burned. I'm going to learn from that mistake. I do have Hollins and Pop Douglas back to back at 41-42. So Demario Douglas, if you wanted to lobby for him over Mac Hollins, I'd be fine with it. But after last week, I think I am going to prefer Mac Hollins over Pop Douglas. But I have them back to back just outside the top 40, right behind someone like Xavier Worthy. I think you're looking at the same proposition. You're hoping for a big touchdown, and without the touchdown, you'll probably get screwed. I think the safer floor for like 40 plus yards is definitely Pop Douglas. However, Mac Hollins is the deep threat. Mac Hollins has gotten more volume lately. I think he has more upside between the two, but probably not worth starting. They're beyond my start territory. The line of delineation where I'm benching players officially is Darius Slayton at 36, but I have them 5 spots behind that. If you are kind of desperate off the wire, I could look to Demario Douglas or Mac Hollins and make an argument that that's not a terrible bet. But I think the more interesting long shot that I'm ranking lower, definitely not telling you to start, is Kyle Williams. I have Kyle Williams at wide receiver 55. At the bottom of my rankings, I have Kyle Williams at the very, very bottom. But last week, a 70-yard touchdown. Who knows? It might happen again. I really doubt it, though. The volume has been so bad this year, I wouldn't trust him. But against the Jets, it's a good opportunity, a bad team. There's going to be garbage time. There's going to be a lot of points from the Patriots offense tonight. And I do think Kyle Williams is kind of interesting, but not going to bet on him. I just think it's a little too risky. Only in DFS would I consider it. But Mason Taylor in the same boat. I know the volume might be there, but it's not going to turn into anything. Like maybe 6 targets, 3 catches, and 14 yards is the stat line for Mason Taylor. He'll get double teamed. He's going to be bad. I would not start Mason Taylor at all tonight. I consider him a long shot. No fucking chance. So that's the only other player I would consider, but not going to do it. Otherwise, Ramondre's out. Kayshon Boutte's out. So is Austin Hooper. So not starting them. Justin Fields, I told you to bench. A.D. Mitchell, not ranked. Neither is Isaiah Davis at running back. And then Garrett Wilson, who was placed on IR. His season may be over. So otherwise, there's only Hunter Henry left to mention. Let me pull up my ranking on Hunter Henry. I have him just outside the top 10. I don't think he's a lock in the lineup, but I don't think he's like an automatic start either. So the matchup for him is not great. Austin Hooper being out helps, but it's not like the safest thing in the world. I don't know for a fact what his target share is going to look like. So Henry, I have it tight end 13. Tight end 13, just ahead of someone like Dawson Knox, because I don't think Dalton Kincaid will play. And if you have someone like Cade Otton, even in a bad matchup, I'd rather go Otton. Laporta, Jake Ferguson have bad matchups this week, but I'd rather go with them. I do like Dalton Schultz this week. I think he is pretty interesting, a safe floor lately. Theo Johnson with Jameis Winston, I think, is more interesting. I also like Colston Loveland this week a lot. And then the top 6 are names you're already trusting, like Kelsey, Goddard, Oronde Gadsden. And then the top 3 of Kittle, Bowers, and McBride. you're not going to bench him. But tight end gets kind of ugly, honestly, outside the top 10 this week. I think Hunter Henry with no Austin Hooper and no Kayshon Boutte is a bit more interesting at tight end 13. I think you can flex him. He's a solid streaming tight end, but not a lock to start, not a guaranteed good play. He could get like 6 targets, have a great game, but without a touchdown, I think you'll be screwed. He could also finish with less than 30 yards. Wouldn't be shocked at all. So you might get like 4 points from Henry. You also might get like 16 if he finds the end zone and has a good game. But the Jets matchup is not the best you could find at the tight end position. So I think I'll pass most likely, but at tight end 13, you could definitely do worse. I'll show you my full rankings on that tomorrow on the channel. But for the moment, I guess now we could just skim through them. I'd rather go with Hunter Henry over Dawson Knox, Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, Greg Dulcich, Zach Ertz. Some of them have better matchups, but some of them are really hard to trust. I don't like Mark Andrews this week. I'm benching him. Noah Fant, Johnny Smith, Terrence Ferguson, and Brenton Strange. Also on the lower end of the spectrum. So probably going to pass on them, but Hunter Henry a little bit tempting. And then otherwise, the only other player I'm starting would be the Patriots defense. Patriots defense is a lock tonight. Holy shit. That is a must start. If you have the Pats defense, don't even ask the question. They are in your lineup tonight 100%. I have them as my defense number 1. I have them as the best defense you can find this week. The Pats with no Garrett Wilson are just going to suck so bad. The Jets, I should say, with no Garrett Wilson. Patriots number 1, in my opinion. I like the Ravens a lot at Cleveland. The weather's terrible. The Browns suck. So Ravens also really good. Texans at Titans. That should be a great defense as well. All in the same tier. If you had a preference of Houston, against Tennessee, or the Ravens at Cleveland over Patriots versus Jets, then fine. But like, you can't argue to me that the Patriots aren't a great start tonight. So 100% you're starting the Patriots. However, I literally have the Jets ranked dead last. I got to scroll all the way down to find the Jets. The Jets are literally my defense number 30. So there is no chance in hell I'm starting the Jets. I am 100% benching the New York Jets. So that is it for start sit decisions. That is the main broadcast for the most part. Let's just run through the gauntlet real quick, just remind you officially who I am starting and who I am benching. So Travion Henderson, 100% a top 10 running back this week, in my opinion, with no Ramondre against the Jets, a must start. Drake May, my quarterback 2, the only quarterback I prefer is Justin Herbert this week. I'm 100% starting Drake May. I'm also starting Stephon Diggs. He's in my top 20 at the position. I would expect a touchdown tonight for Stephon Diggs. And then the Patriots are my defense number 1. I'm 100% starting New England tonight. But if I'm desperate at running back, then I would consider Breece Hall, but I have him outside my top 25. I don't think he's a safe start. RB 28, I would rather bench him, but based on necessity, you probably will flex him. Hunter Henry in the flex conversation with the injuries to Boutte and Austin Hooper. High upside tonight, but low floor. If the ball goes elsewhere, they could bench their starters in the fourth quarter if this game is out of hand, which it will be. So Henry, if he doesn't score early, may not score at all. But same argument goes to Mac Hollins and Demario Douglas. All 3 of these Patriots, Henry, Pop, and Hollins, have elite upside tonight. They could all give you like 15 plus points. However, they could also burn you with less than 5. So buyer beware, risky plays for sure. However, good matchup against the Jets. My preference would be Mac Hollins. I'd rather go Mac Hollins. Then I'd rather go Hunter Henry and then Pop Douglas. Like, if you're just ranking flex plays, that's the order: Mac, Henry, Pop. But it's mainly like the upside for Mac, and then the floor I think is more appealing as you get towards Pop Douglas. But all 3 are kind of compelling. I think I'd still rather go Breece Hall just because of his talent, but I don't feel like any of the 4 flex plays are like really safe tonight. They're just interesting and hopeful for optimism. That also puts Terrell Jennings in the interesting conversation. Got to be super, super desperate. But if you tell me the Patriots drop like 6 touchdowns tonight and 2 of them are rushing scores by Terrell Jennings in the fourth quarter when the game is out of hand, I could see that. I don't think I'll do it. You can definitely leave him on the waiver wire, but in the embarrassing zone, I do understand the argument for a vulture touchdown on Terrell Jennings tonight. But long shot, probably higher upside, is Kyle Williams, but feels even riskier. Mason Taylor, I have no faith in. I'm not going to start him. Definitely telling you to bench him. And then Ramondre, Kayshon, and Hooper are all out. All those Patriots aren't even going to play. And then Fields going to be dog shit tonight, less than 100 yards passing from Fields probably. A.D. Mitchell, we'll see what the trade led to. Does he have any value? I doubt it. Isaiah Davis, not betting on him. Garrett Wilson is on IR. And then the Jets defense, you are asking to lose. They are my lowest ranked on the week. So that's it for the start sit decision. That is it. I would consider the Patriots kicker not terrible. The Jets kicker, though, that's asking to lose, not starting. The Jets kicker. But before we move on and answer your questions, I just got to get the final score prediction out of the way. If it wasn't obvious, I am taking the Patriots to win. This is what I think will happen tonight. The Pats win 38-3, and this is going to be a drubbing. A complete blowout. No competition whatsoever. Drake May is going to look amazing. He'll probably get benched in the fourth quarter for... Who's their backup? I'm already forgetting who their backup is this year, but it doesn't matter. Whoever it is. I think it's the guy that's like shaved, his head is shaved. I want to say Josh Downs, but I know that's not right because that's a receiver. It's like Josh Dobbs will get some snaps tonight behind Drake May, but they're going to score 5 touchdowns before that happens. Final score, Patriots 38, Jets score 3. They'll score a field goal in the first quarter on their opening drive and then never come close to scoring again. So Patriots going to be dominant tonight. However, I would hit the under on the point total. I think the Jets will just be so inept. They will not contribute. The line is 43.5 points tonight. I would hit the under for sure. But the Patriots are projected to win by 12.5 points. They will cover, no doubt about it. They are going to win by at least 3 touchdowns, in my opinion, tonight. But y'all agree with me. 89% are taking New England. 11% is trolling, and 11% is out of their mind. But Patriots definitely decide. Patriots will win and continue their dominance. So that is my final score projection. And lastly, I give you a wager, an underdog player prop pick'em, and a reminder, promo code BLUNT will get you $100 in bonus funds after you play your first 5. If you would like to sign up, the link is in the description down below, and enter promo code BLUNT on sign up. Play your first 5 and get 100 in bonus funds for new customers. If you're interested in how to spend that $5, if you're not quite sure, let me show you how I am spending $5 of my own tonight. This is my underdog lineup myself. Again, we are zoomed in a little too much, so let me zoom out and show you the picks I am making. I'm going a little bit bold. I'm going with 6 picks. All of them need to hit, so if you really can't afford to lose $5, do not make this wager. It is unlikely to happen when you have 6 player projections. But I feel pretty good about at least 2 of them. I would tell you that the Jets offense is going to be dog shit tonight, so I have no desire to bet on Breece Hall and any higher. The Patriots run defense is one of the best in the league right now. They're allowing less than 50 rushing yards per game in their last 4. So Breece Hall is not going to give you 60 rushing yards tonight. He needs to hit 59 to hit the higher. Breece Hall is not going to do that. That is for sure. Unless he has a big house call that I'm just not projecting, I'm not worried about this one at all. I think this one is a lock. Breece Hall going to hit the lower. Justin Fields also going to hit the lower on the passing yards. It feels tempting to hit the higher because 133 is not hard to do. But Fields has gone lower than this in 3 of his last 4 games. If he's not having a good game on offense, then he's not going over 100 passing yards. With no Garrett Wilson, it is not going to happen. So hit the lower on the Jets offense. Fields will not crack 100, and Breece Hall is not going to crack 50. Those 2, I think, are locks. But Demario Douglas, I think, is being slept on here by Underdog. The projection is 24 receiving yards. I think he will go over 25. He's done that consistently this season. And although last week was a big game for Mac Hollins and Kyle Williams, they didn't need him that much. And when you have big plays like that, it just takes away some of those shorter targets that would have been involved to move the chain. So Pop is going to catch at least 3-4 receptions tonight. He will give you at least 25 yards. He did that last week, even in a down game. With no booty, he will crush 25 yards. It might not be more than 40, but it will go over 25. So I like that one a lot. I think that one is one of the safest you can find. And then I feel pretty good about the Stephon Diggs touchdown. This is where we start to get risky, but Diggs has 3 games with 3 straight touchdowns. I think with no Kayshon Boutte, it's a pretty safe bet that in the red zone, Diggs will be a go-to target. Yet again, I like the touchdown tonight on Stephon Diggs. I think it'll be one of 3 touchdown passes for Drake May tonight. I genuinely could envision him scoring 4 touchdowns, if not more tonight. The Pats are going off. Drake May will throw at least 2, and where I think it's worth your money is if he throws 3 or more. I think the return on investment on this player projection is worth hitting higher on 2.5. Higher 1.5, I don't think is worth it. They diminish your payout. That one is a lock. This one I think is pretty likely, and I think it's a pretty decent bet to make. I think it's worth your time, but definitely not a guarantee. You could get vultured by Terrell Jennings or Travion Henderson multiple times, and the touchdown on Travion was also lowering the payout. I would rather just go with the randomness of the vulture running back touchdown for Terrell Jennings. I expect some garbage time. I don't think the Jets are going to be competitive at all. I think Drake May is throwing 3 touchdowns tonight. Travion Henderson is scoring a touchdown. And then in garbage time, Terrell Jennings will also score a touchdown. I think there's 5 touchdowns tonight in New England, and I think that 5th might go to the backup running back. So this 6th pick, I think, is going to cost me. I think this is the one that really I got a little too bold on, and I kind of wish I could take it back because I need all 6 to hit. They're all contingent on each other, and 5 out of 6 is not going to help me whatsoever. But the 50% profit boost makes this payout really nice. $5 for just shy of 300. That's pretty dope. And odds are 5 picks aren't going to hit either. I've been getting close a lot. If I showed you like my full repertoire of picks, I have a lot that are close. I hit on one last week, not one that I recommended, but I turned $5 into $250 as well last week with my picks. That Rams Niners game had a bunch of touchdowns that I bet on that did work out for me. So I'm feeling a bit bold and risky. We're taking our shots, and I think the riskiest one is Terrell Jennings by far, but that one I think is tempting enough where I'm going to do it. But otherwise, the Drake May 3 touchdowns I think is a decent bet. If that one hits, then the Diggs touchdown is definitely going to hit, and then I feel pretty confident about Pop Douglas over 25 yards. I feel guaranteed that Breece Hall goes under 59 yards, unless he has a big touchdown run. There's no way this happens. And then Justin Fields has given you like 60 passing yards, like 3 out of 4 times as of late. So this is my pick tonight. This is what I think will happen. And if you would like to follow me, if you would like to join me, enter promo code BLUNT on sign up, play your first 5 and get $100 in bonus funds. These are the picks. Pop Douglas, 25 receiving yards or more. Breece Hall, less than 59. Terrell Jennings, touchdown. Stephon Diggs, touchdown. Drake May with 3 passing touchdowns. And Fields with less than 133. That one feels crazy. The fact that I'm confident that Fields has less than 130 passing yards is pretty insane. But that is it for the main broadcast. If you've been waiting for your question to be asked, I will let you know. Let me pull up all of your questions now that we are done. So thank you for your patience. If you've been waiting, I really appreciate it. Let me unpin my message. Let me end the poll. 88% of y'all are taking the Patriots to cover. I would totally agree. Pats are definitely going to cover tonight. So let me get y'all's questions up on the screen, and then I will run through them as fast as I can. Give me like 30 seconds here as I hash out all of the technical aspects. Okay, live chat. There we go. Is it on the screen? There we go. This was the first comment. Warrior Loft tells us, we were right last week ranking Mills high. I should have started him over Brissett. Brissett has been so good the other 2 weeks, I couldn't sit him. He did get me 19 garbage time points. Yeah, Brissett was fine. Brissett was definitely safer. Mills was like, if we're shooting for the moon and we feel bold enough to take the risk, and that was the move. But thanks. Yeah, that was a very good call on Davis Mills. But we do have some super chats. Let me get to those. Thank you very much, Ryan, for the $5. You're asking flex Vidal versus Hall versus Jamison Williams. This week, I'm going to go Jamison Williams. The upside, I think, is so high. Vidal doesn't get a great matchup. The Jags are really good at stopping running backs. And then Breece Hall gets a terrible matchup this week. So I, based on my rankings, prefer JMO straight up. I think now that Dan Campbell's the play caller in Detroit, we're going to get a lot of those deep shot targets to Jamison Williams. I think he saw that John Morton was leaving JMO behind a little bit, and he was like, no, I'm going to take over. Let's fix this, and get JMO the ball. So Dan Campbell, I think, moves the needle there. That Eagles game has some high upside, and they don't have two good corners that can stop JMO. So I'll take JMO there. I think the upside is worth it. Otherwise, Vidal is pretty interesting. I would rather go Vidal than Breece Hall. I'm definitely benching Breece Hall tonight. But I think JMO has the higher upside. I don't like the matchup very much for Kimani Vidal. But obviously, you know that the floor is non-existent with JMO. So if all you want is like 11 points, 11 points, go Kimani Vidal. If you are willing to risk the like 3 points that JMO could give you in exchange for the 18-20 I think he could offer, then I think it's worth it. I would go JMO over Vidal. I'm definitely benching Breece Hall. But thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Jay Park with another $5 donation. Also appreciate it, buddy. Which two wide receivers should I start? Cortland, JMO, Addison, and Shakir? That is a good question. Let me actually... I need to look at my rankings, to be honest with you. The highest one I have ranked, I believe, is Khalil Shakir. I have Khalil Shakir at 24. I have Cortland Sutton at... I'm not high on Sutton this week at all. I have Sutton at 39. I'm not trying to start Sutton at all this week. I'm worried about Sutton. JMO, I really like. JMO is the highest ranked. And then Addison, I'm worried about the quarterback situation against Chicago. So the player I'm definitely benching, I think, is Cortland Sutton. I would be starting Jamison Williams and Khalil Shakir. Similar to the last question I answered, the upside on JMO I think is totally worth it. And then Khalil Shakir against Tampa Bay, I think has very high upside as well. A lot of volume. I would trust Khalil Shakir. Addison is interesting, but just like Cortland Sutton, I don't really trust their situation this week. A bit of a rough matchup for Sutton against Trent McDuffie. I'd rather avoid it. Last week was so bad for him. He's been bad lately. Troy Franklin's been better. I'd bench Sutton. I'd bench Addison because I don't trust McCarthy or the backup quarterback. I'm definitely starting JMO and Shakir. Long story short, start Jamison Williams and Khalil Shakir. There was one other super chat. Mr. 305. 305. Mr. 305. Got a feeling about Kyle Williams on his birthday. I didn't know it was his birthday today. That's pretty interesting. Definitely possible. Last week was good. If you're telling me that they unleash him against a team that's this bad like the Jets, that makes a lot of sense. I think you're onto something. I could see him offer some high upside. That'll be fun. But I think it's too bold for me to do that. I don't know if I'm going to do that myself, man. But an interesting pickup off the wire for sure. That's interesting. Hi Frog says, is Joe Mama a good floor play this week? You mean Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow? Who's Joe Mama? I think Joe Mama is Joe Flacco. Yeah, I do like Flacco. Flacco I have is like a top 12 quarterback. You know, the matchup this week scares me a lot for Lamar Jackson. I'm trying to fade Lamar a little bit. I'm also trying to fade Mahomes a little bit. I like Flacco, but obviously there is risk against Pittsburgh. Last time we saw a quarterback in Pittsburgh was 2 weeks ago, and that was Daniel Jones. Oh, real quick. I don't know how long I can keep it. Check out. Let me pack a bowl as I think this over. I think Joe Flacco's a safe start this week, but I am a little bit worried that the Steelers defense wakes up at home because their season's like on the line. If they lose to the Bengals for the second time, there's no way they win the division. and that's their only chance to make the playoffs. I would not expect the Steelers to be a wild card team. Like, I don't think 10 wins is getting you a spot this year in the AFC, and the Steelers are not going to win 11 games, so they need to win badly. I could see Flacco kind of blow up in your face, honestly. It did with Daniel Jones a little bit. Like, turnovers will be a problem, but yardage will be fine. Flacco will be fine. Never mind. Yeah, Flacco's a good start this week. I'm gonna hit the pipe. We'll drop the intro, the stem pull, and then I'll answer all of the non-donation questions. I am a man of my word. I will answer those questions. I'm just taking my time. I showed you. We have something important. We have something important. Okay. I'll see you on the other side. All right. Thank you for the donation, Mr. Frog. Thank you, 305. Thank you, Jay. And thank you, Ryan, as well. But Warrior Loft also asking, start Travion Henderson versus the 21st ranked Jets or the Kyron Williams versus the 12th ranked Seahawks. I have them so close, my friend. I literally have them back to back this week. And my preference is Travion Henderson. Oh no, I do actually have Kyron 3 spots lower. I have Kyron at number 12. I have Travion at number 9. I am starting Travion Henderson tonight. Good luck. I think he'll play fantastic. Give me Travion Henderson over Kyron Williams. But KJC, Mason Taylor filling in for Sam Laporta. I got faith. I do not, bro. Good luck with that, but I don't have faith at all. I would go Laporta. I know the matchup's bad for Laporta this week, but I would not bench Laporta for Mason Taylor. Bryce Long says Rome and Zay for Buka. Rome and Zay Flowers for Buka. Your wide receivers would be Puka, Buka, Diggs, Dobbs. My running backs are Hendy, Genty, Woody. Just trying to make the best team possible for the playoffs. I mean, I like Buka. His schedule in the playoffs is actually pretty bad, but I do like Buka a lot. I'm a stan on Buka. I like Rome. I think Flowers is not terrible, but yeah, you get the best player, and if you can consolidate points from 2 guys into 1, you can still also get an added boost in points on another roster spot. So yeah, I'd make the trade. Give me Buka for Rome and Zay, but I could see this looking bad if Rome can play consistently. Rome, if he didn't have a bagel 2 weeks ago, is good enough where I would say you're overspending, but to have Buka a top 10 wide receiver at the worst, arguably top 5, I think is worth it. Scott Young says, good evening. Welcome in, Scott. Nice to see you again. Bryce, also, would you trade Hendy and Diggs for Derrick Henry? No. Go with Travion over Derrick Henry rest of the season. For sure. This team has Marks, Kyron, Henderson. Stick with Henderson. Last week was a sign. You got to stick with Travion Henderson. He could be a league winner. I think he will be rest of the season. Kijo says, I started Darnold over Mills last week. Lost by 4 points. Damn. Oh, hate to see it. I don't blame you, though, for starting Darnold over Mills. I don't blame you. But I did rank Mills over Darnold. Couldn't even take advantage of my opponent starting Bo Nix. Shit. Needless to say, I am really kicking myself. I don't think it's that egregious, man. Like, I don't fault you for doing it. But, I did rank Mills above Sam Darnold last week. You should have trusted me. Should have trusted me, man. I'm wrong plenty of times. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm never wrong. But on that one, I was right. Bummer to lose by anytime you lose by less than 10, it's always sad. But Jamie says bonsoir et bonjour. Thank you, my friend. Right now it's just before 4 p.m. I'm on the Pacific time coast. But Luis in the chat, welcome in. Thank you for joining the blunt rotation, Luis. I appreciate it. Jamie, what kind of question do I listen to? What kind of music do I listen to? Kind of everything, but like I grew up on like The Doors and like rock and roll and like Pink Floyd and like stuff like that. But kind of everything. I like older music most of the time. Uh, it's a Brees Hall game. I disagree. I do not think so. But if you want to take that shot, go for it. The Patriots defense is brutal. Should I start New England defense tonight or the Chargers versus the Jags? Start the Patriots over the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be fine. They're top 10 this week in my ranks, but the Patriots I have at number 1. I think the Patriots are top 3. There are only like 2 other teams I'd even consider benching the Patriots for, and the Chargers are not one of them. So you don't have the Texans. You do not have the Ravens. I am starting New England over LA. But thank you, Jamie, for letting everybody know. We will answer questions at the end. Jamie likes Vidal, but I prefer Jameson Williams. But Patriots' run defense is elite, but not their pass to running back defense, aka dump offs. I mean, maybe, but where else is the ball going? There's going to be 8-man boxes on every play for Brees Hall. Doesn't matter how he gets the ball, he's getting tackled very quickly. But you're saying that Pollard caught 6 for 6 for 43 yards against the Patriots defense? That's fine, but Brees Hall is just a flex play. Brees Hall is not safe tonight. He's not going to score a touchdown. I wouldn't bet on it. Brees Hall might give you like 50 receiving yards and still give you like less than 8 points. I also could envision a fumble tonight for Brees Hall. I think it's going to be ugly for Brees Hall. Johnny Jersey says, I need to stream a quarterback. Bo Nix, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, or Brissett. Who should I stream? I mean, the stats say Geno has the best matchup. The stats also like Aaron Rodgers this week in terms of matchups. The Bengals and Cowboys matchups are the best you could find. So that is potentially where I would look. But let me pull up my tentative rankings. I'll have them posted later this week, tomorrow and Saturday. Look for my rankings. But personally, at the moment, I have... Oh, wow, you got a good question. I have Bo Nix at 16. I have Geno Smith at 17. And I have Rodgers at 18. And then I have Brissett at 22. Ryan likes Brissett, but honestly, with no Marvin Harrison, I'm a little bit worried. But with Trey McBride, he should be fine. Brissett's okay. Brissett's not bad. But I think the higher upside is with guys like Geno and Aaron Rodgers. But I think personally, I still think I might go Bo Nix. I haven't hammered out all my rankings yet. But I think I might go with Bo Nix, honestly. Feels gross. If all you want is the floor, I would say Brissett has the highest floor. I would say the highest upside this week is Geno Smith. And then the highest combo of the two is Bo Nix. Rodgers, also decent combo. But that's really close. Trust your gut. At the moment, I'm saying Bo Nix, but only one spot above Geno. It's going to be between Bo Nix and Geno. I think I might go Geno Smith because the Cowboys matchup is so good. So Johnny, I think I'm going to recommend Geno Smith, but I might not change my rank on Bo Nix yet. KJ says stream Mason Taylor tonight with recent Sam Laporta news or wait for further notice and grab Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, 100% Colston Loveland. Do not start Mason Taylor if you can get Colston Loveland. Pick up Colston Loveland like right fucking now. Do it. We're going Colston Loveland over Laporta straight up. Give me Loveland this week. Love Colston Loveland. My boy Colston Loveland is the start. Ryan wondering Harvey versus Vidal in the flex. We're going to go RJ Harvey this week over Kamani Vidal. But Johnny Jersey says half PPR start DeAndre Swift versus the Vikings or Addison versus the Bears. I think we're going to go Swift against the Vikings. Yeah, I agree with Ryan. His answer. Start DeAndre Swift over Addison. I also have Harvey over Vidal. Ice Cold Jones says, should I start Purdy or Flacco? I'm going Flacco this week. I know Purdy is getting the start, but I do not trust him as much as Flacco. Dang. I think I'm going to go Flacco. Flacco has such high upside. I'll go Flacco. I also like Theo Johnson this week, but Funeral Snacks, what's up, man? How you doing? Alex says Chase Brown versus Hall for flex this week. Ooh, that's a close one. I have Chase Brown at 20. I have Brees Hall at 28. I'm going Chase Brown this week. Give me Chase Brown over Brees Hall. But Jonathan Cooper says start 2 non-PPR Kyron Vidal, Ladd, or Chase Brown. We are going to start Ladd McConkey and Kyron Williams. Let's bench Vidal. Let's bench Chase Brown. If you have Kyron, I'm not starting Chase Brown or Vidal over him. Give me Kyron for sure. But Ladd has such a good matchup. I'm definitely trusting him for a lot of yardage this week. And I think he'll score a touchdown against the Jags. Their secondary sucks. Give me Ladd McConkey over the running backs. Kyron and Ladd are the two I would start in standard. But Warrior Loft says start Ferguson versus the Raiders or Gadsden versus Jacksonville. As long as Gadsden is healthy enough to play, I'm going Gadsden versus Jacksonville. Great matchup for Gadsden. Rough matchup for Ferguson. Give me Gadsden over Ferguson. Jamie, I net the Patriots minus 14. Yeah, they're going to win by at least 2, if not 3 touchdowns. That's for sure. But Zebratron, I'm sorry, Gogo Bongzilla. Zebtronorama, I'm sorry, man. Jason Hopkins, I apologize for torching you with Travion Henderson. Didn't think I would win going in last week, but good luck making the playoffs, man. I would love to see you find your way in as the 7 seed. Good luck, man. That was a really good matchup last week. Let me pull it up just to show everyone while I can. Let me pull it up real quick. This was our wager, by the way. A reminder, code BLUNT gets you $100 in bonus funds. And tonight, this is our wager. You can check that out while I get the matchup ready on the screen here between me and Gogo Bongzilla last week. This is our subscriber league matchup. Gogo Bong scored 111. I scored 150. And I have Travion Henderson to thank for that. That's for sure. Travion got me 32. We have some bonuses, so maybe even more than what he might have scored in your format. But Travion came through for me. Egbuka had a good game. Adams and Kittle were really good. I also had Drake May and the Chargers defense. I was surprised that Bijan only gave me 10 points. Bijan let me down a little bit. We have a prize in the subscriber league for if you have the highest point total on a week, you are going to win $50. You're going to get your entry fee back. And right now, the current record is like 165 points in one single week. So I scored 150. I thought Bijan would drop 20 against the Colts. So I could have had a much better game, but Pop Douglas kind of let me down a little bit. Only 4.4 from him. I had a really good week. Travion was a big reason why, but better luck next time, man. Sorry that Romeo Doubs got hurt. That could have been an interesting game from Romeo Doubs. He had some good performances. McCaffrey a little bit less than expected. Brees had a good game. Mariota with 20 points, but Pinheiro only with 1. Kincaid also got hurt. Dobbs with 1 point. Bummer, man. We had a good matchup going in. I feel lucky to have gotten the win, but you're in 8th place. You can still make the 6th seed. Good luck, Gogo Bong. That was a good matchup last week. Shout out Gogo Bongzilla in the subscriber league. But let me get back. Herbert or May tonight? Oh, man. Honestly, take whoever you want. I have them at 1 and 2. I have Herbert higher. Personally, I'm going Herbert. The matchup for Herbert is better. But I think May is going to play lights out. I think May will have at least 3 touchdowns. May will be lights out. But I have Herbert ranked 1 spot higher. But at 1 and 2, I'd rather go with them over Josh Allen. There's no way you go wrong with either. So do whatever you want. But personally, I have Herbert 1 spot higher. Um, no Garrett Wilson for Fields. Hurts big. Yeah, not trusting Fields at all. Not trusting the Jets offense whatsoever. But nice to see you, Best Ball on Call. It's been a while. Nice to see you again. But Jonathan Cooper says 2 touchdowns and 1 running for May. Book it. I don't want that rushing touchdown. I want that to be a passing touchdown. I want that rushing touchdown to go to Terrell Jennings for my wager tonight. But Jonathan Cooper, Ferguson, or Goddard, we do not like the matchup for Ferguson this week. We are going to go with Dallas Goddard. High upside with both. Sometimes a risky floor with Goddard, but I don't care. I think it's worth it. My matchup is much better. Give me Dallas Goddard over Jake Ferguson. But thank you, Jamie, for reminding me. Let's smoke another one. Appreciate it. And then we're starting to catch up on the comments. Let's go a little quickly. We got the Packers defense or the Falcons defense. Love the Falcons this week. I don't trust Bryce Young at all. But anytime you get to go against Jameis Winston, you have the opportunity for not just one, but multiple pick sixes. Give me Packers defense against Jameis Winston over the Falcons against Bryce Young. A little bit of risk. Jameis can move the ball probably better than Bryce Young. That division game probably has a really high floor for the Falcons, but the upside is just through the roof on Green Bay against Jameis Winston. You got to go with the Packers defense. But Pastel Froggy, Goddard over Sutton. Yes, I do not trust Sutton this week. Not a good matchup. I do not want Sutton. Give me Dallas Goddard over Cortland Sutton. But Pastel says I was joking. Sorry, bro. Thought of that earlier. Is this on Joe Mama? Is this on the Joe Mama question? No worries, man. Wow. Wooly says, and I'm starting Warren over Judkins based on the matchup. I don't hate that. I'll let you know exactly where I have Judkins. I have Jalen Warren at 15 above Saquon Barkley. And then I have Quinshon Judkins at 13. So I go Quinshon Judkins, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Saquon Barkley this week. I personally would still go Judkins over Jalen Warren. The wind will give Judkins elite volume. Meanwhile, Jalen Warren has such a good matchup, but I don't ever trust him to find the end zone. I get it. I don't think you're making a mistake. But personally, because of the wind, I do have Judkins 2 spots actually, above Jalen Warren. A true toss-up, you can't go wrong, but go ahead and start Jalen Warren tonight if you prefer. I have them really, really close. They're both in the top 15, though. They're both must-starts, in my opinion. Joe Phelan says, non-PPR, start 1 wide receiver, flex 1, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, Vidal, Chase Brown, or Swift. Non-PPR. We need 1 receiver here and then 1 flex. A touchdown, I think, is like money in the bank for Adams. So we're going to go Devontae Adams at receiver. Definitely over A.J. Brown. So that's our receiver, Adams for sure. And then at flex, I have Chase Brown over Vidal this week, but I have Swift over Chase Brown. So the question is, would I consider A.J. Brown better than Swift? I do not. The vibes are always off with A.J. Brown. He was telling you to trade him away in fantasy. I don't think he feels good. The matchup's not bad for A.J. Brown, but it's not terrible for Swift, and I kind of just prefer the Bears offense a little bit indoors as opposed to A.J. Brown. So higher upside with A.J. Brown, I would totally understand. But in non-PPR, I definitely favor running backs, and I have Swift ranked the highest at running back. I would rather go Swift in standard than A.J. Brown. So give me Adams at receiver, Swift at flex, bench A.J. Brown, Vidal, and Chase Brown. They should be on the bench. But Akshay says start 2 running backs, full PPR, Breece, Henderson, Chase Brown, or Judkins. We are 100% going with Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. I do not like Breece Hall at all tonight. I know he might be catching passes, but I don't care. I'm benching Breece Hall. And then Chase Brown, I don't think he's getting as much volume as Judkins this week. I like Judkins a lot. In that Ravens game in the wind, the volume will be great. Give me Judkins and Travion Akshay. Good luck, man. But Warrior says, thank you. You're welcome, bro. Akshay with another question. Start 2, flex 1. Judkins, Diggs, BTJ, Flowers, Egbuka, JMO, Metcalf, and Harvey. Okay, you have a lot of options. 2 receivers, 1 flex. So at receiver, we're going to start Egbuka 100%. We're going to go Flowers on the bench. Definitely bench Flowers. I don't know if Brian Thomas Jr. is going to play. So at the moment, I'm going to tell you to bench him. I'm going to bench Metcalf if I have JMO. But I will go Diggs above JMO. So I'm going Egbuka and Diggs at receiver. And then the question is, do I want Judkins above Harvey? Yes. Do I want Judkins above JMO? Yes. So those are the 3. I'm going Egbuka, Diggs, and Judkins. Those are the 3. Pastel Froggy, hopefully no more 4-pointers from Egbuka. I doubt it. I wouldn't expect that at all. That's pretty rare. Do I trust Baker this week, or do I drop Sean Tucker / Loveland for Rodgers or McCarthy? No, you're going to go Baker this week. Against Josh Allen, that game's probably a shootout. But I would probably drop Sean Tucker for JJ McCarthy. I'm keeping Loveland on the team 100%. I could see McCarthy be a solid backup quarterback. Not terrible, but Akshay says add Bucky to that start 2 receiver, wide receiver 1 flex question. If he plays, then go Bucky over Judkins, but I don't think Bucky's going to play. I think he's doubtful. Not going to move the needle on Bucky. But Shane Miner, thanks for being a member. Adam, what running back should I start in my flex? Judkins, Swift, or Chase Brown? I like Judkins a lot this week. I love the game script in all the wind. Give me Judkins. Swift is tempting, but the Vikings in division are a little bit difficult. They're easier to throw against. And then Chase Brown against Pittsburgh, I don't think he'll be as good this time and needs a touchdown. I feel safer to bet on that with Judkins by a long shot. Give me Judkins there over Swift and Chase Brown. But Akshay, start Loveland or Otten this week. We're going Colston Loveland. The matchup's pretty good against Minnesota. I like Loveland a lot. Otten has a bad matchup in the wind. So give me Colston Loveland. Mango Hapkin says, picked up Joe Flacco with Dart out, but now wondering if I should drop him for Caleb Williams. Yes. Drop Flacco. He will get benched soon in the next few weeks for Joe Burrow. So his time is dwindling. And then straight up, I'd much rather go with Caleb Williams in my lineup than Joe Flacco. 100% bench Flacco for Caleb Williams. Drop Flacco for Caleb Williams. Don't drop Jackson Dart. But if you just picked up Flacco, definitely I'd rather have Caleb Williams by a mile. Jonathan Cooper says they have to notice they started losing after going away from Bijan and passing nonstop. Bounce back this week. Let's hope. I know. It's so frustrating that the Falcons have literally like the best player in the league, and they don't fucking use him. Like Raheem Morris, I think, is on the hot seat. Akshay says start 2 running backs, 1 flex, full PPR. Egbuka, Henderson, Hall, Chase Brown, and Judkins. We're benching Breece Hall. We're benching Chase Brown. We're starting Henderson. We're starting Egbuka. We're starting Judkins. Egbuka, Hendo, and Judkins. Those are the 3. Luis says, do you smoke the pens? I do not. I'm not a fan of the pens. The Benjamins, I think, are a little less healthy, honestly. But I don't want to get into all of that too much. I've just never found it as satisfying as straight up smoke. And I know smoke isn't like good for your lungs either, but this is not the question you asked. I do not smoke pens. I just smoke flower. Bjorn, who's a good trade for Bowers? I need a receiver next week, and I have McBride rest of season. If you're going to give away Bowers, you better be getting someone really fucking good. Like, I would at least expect to get Devontae Adams back if I gave up Bowers. Someone in the top 10, like someone on the same caliber as Devontae Adams, maybe not Drake London. I think asking for London is too much, but Nico Collins kind of feels like the high end threshold. I could argue Nico Collins for Bowers is a very fair trade. I would say at the minimum you got to get like Lad McConkey, but even that feels like you should just stick with Bowers. Someone elite, someone really good. I wouldn't give him up for like Roma Dunze. No, I wouldn't do that. But if I got Egbuka, I'd feel pretty good. If I got Justin Jefferson, I'd feel okay about it. Devontae Smith, I think, is a fair trade. Someone like that. I also think Jalen Waddle has an amazing schedule rest of the season. If I could get Waddle and another piece, like let's say Waddle and Colston Loveland, or like Waddle and Dallas Goedert for Bowers, I would do that. Waddle and Goddard would be a interesting compensation package for Bowers. But odds are, if you're not getting like the threshold of Igbuka, London, Nico Collins, at the least Adams. I don't think I would do it. Yeah, the Pens. There's more than just weed in there, and I don't like it. I just want the authentic, pure thing. Hallway says, welcome back. Big week 11 for me. Otten with the weather or Loveland? We're going Loveland. And the weather is a big reason why. The matchup's also bad. Loveland gets a good matchup indoors, and he's also coming along pretty well lately. I like the upside a lot more for Loveland. The volume usually carries you with Otten, but I would go Loveland this week, personally. Bjorn says Higgins as a target. I think you could do better than Higgins. T. Higgins is like, I'd feel a little bit disappointed if I got T. Higgins. Like T. Higgins, George Pickens, like I think someone could offer you that and make a case that it's a fair trade, but I think you're missing out on value with Brock Bowers. I think T. Higgins is a little too like a round less valuable than Brock Bowers. If we were redrafting today, that's my take on it, but maybe other people would disagree, consider Bowers less valuable. Last week Bowers was bad, but 2 weeks ago he had 3 touchdowns and like 40 points. So Bowers I think is more valuable there. Bjorn says I got Waddle. He's in bye next, but thanks for the recommendation. Waddle is going to be great. Waddle's schedule's awesome. I just picked up Malik Washington in the subscriber league, and I love the Dolphins' schedule rest of the way. Like the Waddle acquisition quite a lot. Akshay says I traded away Jacobs and Waddle for Egbuka and Genty. Jacobs and Waddle for Egbuka and Genty. Not bad. Not bad at all. Is that a W? I got the Genty side. Team is now Drake May, Genty, Gibbs. Genty has a really good schedule the rest of the way. If you have Genty in the fantasy championship week 17, you are probably going to win. Genty, I like his schedule a lot, especially like this week. Unless I'm mistaking him for someone else. Let me pull it up real quick before I take that back. This week, Genty gets Dallas. Then he gets Cleveland. That's not a good matchup, but whatever. It's at home. The Chargers could be a good spot. I think he'll be fine. Denver, I think he'll be fine. He was pretty solid last week against Denver. Then he's at Philly. Philly's actually been a good matchup. Then he's at Houston. Okay, so the schedule isn't like elite, but the schedule's not terrible. There's nothing that like really scares you other than the Browns matchup in 2 weeks. And then week 17, if you have Genty in the fantasy championship, he gets the Giants, and that's a top 5 matchup. Genty will crush in week 17. When we look at Jacobs, though, Jacobs' schedule, I think, is a little bit more appealing, but like not in the fantasy playoffs. Like to get to the playoffs, I prefer Jacobs' schedule, but then in the playoffs, I prefer Genty's. Like this week, Jacobs against Philadelphia. Oh no, that was last week. Jacobs gets the Giants this week. That'll be great. Jacobs gonna go off this week. But then against Minnesota, it's fine. At Detroit, it's terrible. That's a bad matchup. Chicago's looking like a really bad matchup right now. And then at Denver's mediocre. Chicago, like I mentioned, bottom 5 right now, so not good. And then Baltimore, that game probably is like in the snow, really cold weather. That matchup's not great. It's not good. Uh that's fine. The schedule after this week for Jacobs looks kind of gross. The schedule for Genty is fine. So straight up in that regard, it's not bad. Um and then at receiver, I think you're probably winning. But I don't think Waddle is that far behind him. Like, it's a fair trade. I think it's fair. Your current team is now Drake May, Genty, Gibbs, Judkins, Bucky, Harvey, Metcalf, Diggs, Flowers, Igbuka, JMO, BTJ, Otten. With Bucky coming back, I think that's fine. Therese Marcel says, "Hey Adam, love the new format. Laporta is a question. I have Njoku, Theo Johnson, and Mason Taylor available on wire. What do you think of dropping Njoku for one of them?" My preference is Theo Johnson this week. With Jameis Winston, Theo Johnson has a lead upside. Don't go Mason Taylor. That's for sure. Njoku has terrible weather. I would drop Njoku for Theo Johnson. This week and rest of the season, I would consider them equal, but this week I prefer Theo Johnson by a lot. This week I'd much rather have Theo Johnson. Rest of the season they'll be like kind of similar, but this week for sure, go Theo Johnson. Hall says Tez, JMO, or Troy Franklin. We're going JMO, but Tez and Franklin are pretty interesting, pretty tempting, but I would go JMO. That is my preference. Akshay says 8-team PPR, start 7. Also trades away Tet and Hertz for May and Metcalf in that league as well. Is that good? Is this in regards to your previous question? Yeah, I think your trade is fine. I think it's fine. Jordan Mason Glazer says flex either Judkins, Brown, or Rome. We are going to flex. Which Brown is this? Is this Chase Brown or AJ Brown? Regardless, I think that's the player we're benching. If it's Chase Brown, definitely bench Chase Brown. If it is AJ Brown, I have him 2 spots above Rome Odunze this week. So I guess I'm benching Rome here. Question is if I'm going Judkins over AJ Brown. Oh, it's Chase Brown. Okay, we're benching Chase Brown then. So it's Judkins versus Rome. Rome is good, but like the bagel 2 weeks ago is so scary. I don't want it to happen again. The matchup for him is like really good though. Is it full PPR or half PPR? Because that'll change my opinion. In full PPR, I'd go Rome. In half, I'm gonna go Judkins. Judkins' volume will be so crazy this week. Full PPR, all right then. We'll go Rome Odunze. The Vikings matchup is awesome right now. Vikings can't stop the pass. And Rome bounced back last week. So let's go Rome Odunze. But Judkins is really interesting because he might get 30 touches this week. He genuinely might get 30 touches. But against the Ravens, I think I'll pass. Give me Rome Odunze. All right. It is... Oh, was this my notification of that's 420? Was this posted 3 minutes ago? What are we going to do? We've caught up on the chat. I know what we're going to do. I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do a primetime Palooza draft. There is the Thursday night football game, the Madrid game, and then Sunday night football between Lions and Eagles. Oh, wow. That's going to be hard to decipher exactly who's the best. Like, no way you're drafting Jets. I could see Tua play lights out in that game. I could also see the Eagles defense and the Lions defense step up. I kind of feel like the Lions Eagles game is a little bit of a trap there. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. This tournament closes in 37 minutes, and right now there's only 430 people in the turn. Holy shit! The odds of advancing are really high in this. Actually, right now you almost have a 1-to-1 guarantee to double your money. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. Hell yeah! Even if another 500 people draft this in the next half hour, your odds of advancing would be 1 in 2. Holy shit! Yeah. If you are new to Underdog, this is a really good tournament to hop into right now. I'm not joking. Because of the math. This is how tournaments work on Underdog. Anytime you see this G, anytime you see the G in the top corner, let me get the circle out. It's right here. This green G. That means the prize money is guaranteed. That means Underdog is putting up the money straight up, and they are trying to make a profit on this tournament. However, in order for that to happen, the tournament has to fill about 90%. The rake is their profit margin. So until 90% of the entrants go into this lobby, they are losing money. However, at the moment, only 432 people are in. And if you scroll down, 425 people are making $20. So right now you have an insane likelihood of just doubling your money. This is an amazing deal. Even if I don't draft a good team here, this is a spot that you want. I think we're going to go Gibbs because the ceiling is just so fucking high. To have access to Gibbs, I have to take him at number 2. I don't know why you'd go Achane over Gibbs. I know Achane's valuable. I'm not pretending Achane isn't top 3. Achane would be my number 2 in this. If Gibbs is open, holy shit. So if you're watching, I really want to put you on to this. I know $10 might not be what you're comfortable wagering. Like, I don't like recommending more than like $5 bets on the channel because you never know what someone is going to go crazy with and what it means to them. Like, I'm never going to recommend you drop $100 on one of those 5 pick'ems, you know? Like, the payout's insane, but the risk is not worth it. $10 is a little bit more, but I think for the return on investment odds, I think it's totally worth it. Also, you could win first prize. You could take home $2,000. Anyways, full disclosure, we are an Underdog partner, so please give me Jalen Waddle here. Fuck yes. Oh my God. Jalen Waddle is going off this week. The Commanders are dog shit. Give me Jalen Waddle. I know Drake May and Jalen Hurts are there, but I think this team might fuck up. Go with the Hurts stack, and I can still get Drake May. Oh boy. Take Hurts, please. Did you watch the Eagles offense last time? On Monday, they look like dog shit. Please take Jalen Hurts. Yes. Fuck yeah. Okay, what are the other quarterback situations, though? I do think Tua is really underrated in this, but Drake May against the Jets, no fucking doubt about it. We're taking Drake May. Holy shit, this is a good team. I am excited for this. Hoping for the Henry bounce back like week 3. It's him or Loveland. I think I'm going to go Loveland this week. Hunter Henry kind of scares me. The Patriots offense, I think, is going to be amazing tonight, but knowing exactly where the ball's going to go is not a reliable investment. Oh boy, I really hope they leave me Stephon Diggs for the stack. I would be giddy if I get Diggs, but no, we do not get Diggs. That's okay. Can't get everything. Could still get Dallas Goedert. That would be dope. I also like Malik Washington in this tournament. But I'm going to go Goddard. Highest ranked at tight end by a significant margin. Laporta, questionable not practicing. Terrible matchup as well. I'm going to go Goddard for sure. Whoever I sit scores 2 touchdowns. Good luck, man. Ooh, I would have liked Mac Hollins there, but honestly, I think it's kind of an interesting proposition to go Malik Washington here. I could also go Pop Douglas. Dang, a little tricky. I'm gonna go Demario Douglas for the Drake May stack. I need somebody in New England, but passing on Malik Washington there feels a little bad. But I could also see Greg Dulcich being really interesting in this for the sake of being unique. The Commanders matchup is awesome. I think Tua is going to have a really good game, actually. I'm very high on Tua this week. Ertz goes. These next two teams both need a quarterback, so that's good for me. I mean, I should probably go Hunter Henry for the stack, right? But he's going to be very heavily rostered. But teams with Goddard and Hunter Henry are going to be a bit rare. Yeah, I have Drake May. Let's go with this stack. Let's take Hunter Henry. And then I'm going to do another one of these. I'm going to do another one. Right? The team is full. We went with Drake May, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Waddle, Demario Douglas, Malik Washington. Oh, whoops. I left him at the queue. I didn't hit the button. Dang it. No worries, man. Good luck. Yeah, if you can get Caleb Williams, definitely drop Joe Flacco. I'm going to do one more of these. I wish I had Hunter Henry on that team, not Malik Washington. I did mess up a little bit. But let's definitely hop in to another. And the fill rate on this is currently at 561. Right now, you have a 76% chance of doubling your money. Of doubling your money in this tournament. A reminder, we are in the primetime knockout for $10. That only has 3 games available. The Thursday night matchup between the Jets and the Patriots. The Madrid game between Tua, the Dolphins, and Washington, the Commanders. And then lastly, we have the Sunday night football game between the Eagles and Lions. Okay, this will be the last one I'll do on the stream. I might do one more after this on my own. Probably not. But we are now on the clock. And again, we get Gibbs. I don't understand why Gibbs is at 2. Like, I know he's against Philly, but really? Gibbs behind Achane? Gibbs just had like 40 points last week. Am I still live streaming? Fuck. My internet went out real quick. I think we're good. Are we? I think we're good. Yeah. Travion goes. Man, if Travion fell to a team with Gibbs, that's insane. But I guess this slate is really good. There's a lot of high upside in this one. I'll probably go back to the well on Waddle here. I think, dang, we get sniped on Waddle. That's okay. I'm going to grab Devontae Smith because this team doesn't have a receiver. I need a receiver. I need at least 2. And I think the drop off after Devontae is kind of significant. But having the Drake May Diggs stack would have been kind of nice. But we could still get the Hurts stack if this team goes Drake May. Nope, he goes Hurts. Hell yeah. So this team's a little bit different than last time, but we're in the same draft slot, so it's going to be pretty similar. Only difference is Devontae versus Waddle, and technically I do rank Devontae higher than Waddle this week, so I guess it's not the end of the world at all. But who's coming back around? Debo goes. So I think we will go back to Goddard. I think so. But actually, I'm gonna go Mac Hollins. Let's get our Drake May stack going because I think we could still go Pop Douglas. We can go Malik Washington, but I think Mac Hollins offers kind of a high ceiling. Is not eligible to be repeated. And now I'm forced into it. We're gonna go with Hunter Henry. I wanted Hunter Henry on the last team. We didn't get him. We put Malik Washington on that one instead. So I'll probably go with a double stack. We could go Demario Douglas here. We could go Justin Fields. We could go Kyle Williams as well. But honestly, I wish I got a different draft slot because I want the team to look different. I blanked on y'all's chats real quick. Let me get those back up. Right after this pick, we are on the clock. We could go Malik Washington. I do like him this week. I'm going to go Kyle Williams. Let's do it. Let's go with the triple Drake May combo with Mac Hollins, Kyle Williams, and Hunter Henry. This is not a Stephon Diggs game, at least for this team to work out. It's not going to be. But if the odds of winning this or just winning any money and advancing weren't so high, I wouldn't be this bold to go Kyle Williams. But I will, and then fuck it. I'm going to do one more. I think it's so worth it. Up to 668. Let's do the math on that. 425 divided by, it's going to be well over 700. So let's just call it 700. Right now, your odds of advancing are 61%. So dwindling kind of quickly, but if this tournament is full, then your odds of getting double your money is 19%. So at the moment, you have triple those chances. But this will definitely be the last one that I do. I'm not going to do a fourth one. I'll do a third. Okay, we get the third slot. So this team will be at least different, but maybe not having Gibbs. I'm not going to like this team as much. We'll be all right. Okay. Let's see. In terms of questions, sweet. Okay, that's back up. But nice. Nice surprise there. Trade CD and Kyron for Addison and JSN. No, I think I'd much rather have Kyron than Addison, and then CDJSN is like a lateral move. Okay, we are on the clock. We're gonna go with Travion Henderson. We will take the running back with the highest upside. We'll go Travion. Oh, how did it go, Hall? Who's on your team? And now we're back on the clock. We will go with Waddle here. Sweet. This is how I wanted it to work out. And then I am going to hopefully pass on Drake May out of necessity. Or trade Buka and Kyron for St. Brown and Sutton. Nah, man. I think you need to stick with Kyron. I think holding on to Kyron is the most valuable move there. May or Hurts. We're going to go Drake May tonight. Drake May over Jalen Hurts. If somebody passes in the next 3 picks on Drake May, I'm 100% taking him. But for the sake of being a different team this time, I'm kind of hopeful that we're not going to wind up with Drake May, because perhaps not drafting Drake May is the path for success. And if that is the case, then it's going to be somebody drafted at the very tail end. But nope. AJ Brown on the board, Stephon Diggs on the board, JMO on the board, Debo on the board. I think I'm going to go JMO with the Laporta injury looming. I think that's the way to go. Also, it opens up a Goff stack that could save me. Yeah. Going to go with JMO over AJ Brown. Equally valuable if it was redrafted. Probably rather go AJ Brown, but higher upside with JMO. Higher upside. Halls has got May, Diggs, A-Chain, Henry, Merritt, and Washington. Odds need to stay high. The JCM pick. I don't know, man. That one scares me a little bit. And then here I will go Dallas Goedert. Right? Is that who I want? Yeah. Give me Dallas Goedert. That's the most valuable tight end in this, in my opinion. But we're going to go a little crazy with the last 2 picks. A little crazy with this last 2 picks here. Oh, if I get sniped, I'm going to be so upset, but I don't think I logistically can get sniped. Yeah, the 2 teams picking already have a quarterback, so that's impossible. That's one thing I like about this tournament. If you can easily know where the board is going to go. When there's only 4 teams like this, and there's a restriction on which positions you can even take. All right, here is where I'm going for it. We're going with Tua. And then just wait for this last pick. This last pick, I don't think anyone is going to see coming. Maybe you know it's coming, but watch me get sniped on it. Watch me get sniped on this. If I get sniped here, I will genuinely respond as accurately as I would. No, he goes Hunter Henry, and he needs a quarterback. I'm not getting sniped. No chance I'm getting sniped. Which quarterback is he taking? Goes Mariota. Stacked up with anyone? No, just goes Mariota. Give me Greg Dulcich, baby. Greg Dulcich. His matchup against the Commanders is awesome. And I can't imagine many people are thinking about him. So we got Waddle. We could obviously go with Malik Washington, but I think being more unique with it is worth it. So the only other decision I think maybe I might have wanted to change was Malik Washington over Goddard. But if Dulcich is going to have a game, I would imagine it's at the expense of Malik Washington. And I don't think Waddle's going to underperform. If we're going to take a shot on Dulcich, we're going to fade Malik Washington. So that's the team. We go with Travion at the 103. We took Waddle at the 2-2. Jameson Williams in the 3rd round, Goddard in the 4th, Tua in the 5th, and then Greg Dulcich at pick 22. Definitely not the obvious stack. So let's have one that's just different. All right, that's gonna be it for me. That was fun, and I never really invest in 3 of those $10 drafts, but let's double check. What are the odds right now? What are they sitting at? Because how much longer does this tournament have? 16 minutes, 816 people. So now, okay, the odds are getting down to like 50%. But 50% to double your money, that doesn't happen too often. Not an underdog. Let's hope it stays under 1,000. I doubt it. Yeah, these entrants are coming in fast. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I'll see y'all next time. We have any last minute questions? Last minute. You're good, Bryce. No worries, man. I'll see y'all next time. And there will be some content posted tonight. Look out for that. See you later. Bye-bye.